And strive. Let's talk fantasy Saturday night edition. Let's put some lights on here, everybody. All right. Let's go. Let's go. Let's get while the getting's good. Let's get it on. All right. Saturday night, big night. Let's see what happened to. Let's see if there's any update on who's playing Monday night. Let's see if anybody has any player updates. Let's see who was it Jakobi Meyers? Was he the one we were sort of worried about? Let's see. Might have to put my glasses on. Jakobi Meyers, did they update it? All right, Colin, liking the live. Thank you. Yo, what's up, Colin? What's up, my man? Jakobi Meyers is no longer has a distinction of injury, so he should be good to go. Who else were we worried about? Was there anybody on Chicago? Myers, Minnesota. I don't think Minnesota had anybody injured. Don't forget to hit that like button, everybody. Don't forget to hit that follow button if you're on TikTok. If you're on YouTube, hit that subscribe. It's very important. Footballer Nick is here. Hey, Footballer Nick. I know you're not much of a basketball fan, but we do have a free basketball fantasy sign up, if you will, and it's in the QR code below me on TikTok, above me on YouTube. So please feel free to join, and the winner gets free brand new golf balls from Rhino 305, my golf ball company. They're designed specifically for casual golfers, people starting out, seniors, juniors, whatever you want to call it. They go straight and they go long, and that's what every golfer needs. So, hey, Footballer Nick, hope all is well. How about those? How about those Chargers, man? Are they going to make the playoff? Are they going to make the playoffs, Footballer Nick? What do you think, buddy? What do you think? I know you're a big Charger fan. All right, we're getting some people crawling in on TikTok. Small numbers right now. I know that probably people that aren't like me who do things probably are doing something right now and don't have time for all this, but definitely. Who was the other injured player? Was it Mooney? Was it London? I'm just trying to think because those distinctions for Monday night's game sort of came out today because they do that on Saturdays, and Jakobi Meyers is no longer listed as he's no longer on the injury report, so he's good to go. He'll be playing. Who else was there? Was there London and Mooney, or was it one of them? See, London doesn't have a distinction. Was it Mooney? All right, let's see. Thank you for all the likes. I really do appreciate it. Mooney does not have a distinction anymore. So let me know what your questions are on fantasy. Wow, 2,000 likes. You guys are rocking and rolling. I love it. Okay, so Mooney, anybody else you want me to look up on their injury report? Again, there's 2 games Monday night, Chicago, Minnesota, and the Falcons, Las Vegas. And on Saturdays, by now, they let you know if the person is still questionable, if they're active, inactive, doubtful. They'll change the injury report for Monday night's games. And right now, Jakobi Meyers for sure is off that injury report, so he will be playing Monday, which is a really, really good sign for the Raiders. Plus, Atlanta is very bad against wide receivers, so Jakobi Meyers should have one heck of a great game. All right. Let's see. Any questions out there? Okay, Daniel Barry Sports Highlights is here. Boy, he's been pumping out some videos, guys. Good stuff by Daniel Barry. You got to watch it. He's on YouTube. I'm not sure if he's on TikTok, but he has some great content over on Daniel Barry Sports Highlights, right? Tyler Sperry asked, Jayden Reed or Jakobi Meyers on YouTube? I got to go Jakobi Meyers. And here's why, Tyler Sperry, is because Jayden Reed and the Green Bay Packers in general, or Jordan Love and the Green Bay Packers, they have 4 wideouts that they pass to. Jayden Reed, Wicks, Dobbs, and Watson. They also pass to the tight end, Kraft, who actually has pretty good numbers. But if you look at it, the last game, I think Jaden Reed, had a 0 or 2 points or something like that. I can't in good faith endorse Jaden Reed to be a starter. And Jakobi Meyers, not to mention, he's been putting up really good points relatively consistently. The thing about Jakobi that I also like is he goes up against the worst defense against wide receivers. So I think for Jakobi Meyers, it's going to be a good game, no matter who the quarterback is for them. So I'll just check out Meyers again. Yeah, Meyers has no distinction. He will be active for the game, which is awesome. And he's had 10, 12, 17, 6.8, 14, 14. So, in the last 6 weeks, he's had double digits 5 of the last 6 weeks. If you round up the 12.7 to 13, in the last 6 weeks, he's had 4 weeks where he's had 13 or more points, rounding up, of course. He did drop that 6.8 against Miami, but even against Tampa Bay last week when I don't think they played well. They only had 13 points. He still had 10.2. And like I said, Atlanta is dead last. Now get this. Atlanta gives up 38.5 points to wide receivers on average over the last 4 weeks. So yes, Jakobi Meyers, Tyler. All right, let me jump to TikTok. Start 2. CD, Sutton, Jeudy, McConkey, Flowers. All right. I would go Sutton and Jeudy. Now, if you want to, if McConkey, but he doesn't play Monday night. The reason why I'm talking about Monday night is usually on Saturdays is when they give another update to Monday night's players, and that's where Meyers is now active for Monday night's game. But I would go Sutton. He's very consistent. He puts up good points. Jeudy has been very consistent. CD, not quite. He has put up some numbers. Let me just look up his numbers real quick before I dismiss him completely. And I know that like the experts would pick CD Lamb. He's at 18.4, 11.8, 14.6, 5.4, 12.2. So he's actually gone over 13 points 2 of the last 6 weeks, where Courtland Sutton has done it 5 of the last 6 weeks. So we are trying to make this work. Footballer Nick asks, should I start DK or Quentin Johnston? I would probably go DK only because Quentin Johnston has been he's very streaky and he's been putting up low number of points. He had that one game that I was saying, oh, he's going to be the next coming of Jerry Rice, and he had very little points. So Footballer Nick, I would go DK, even though JSN has been doing pretty well for them. I think DK will have more points or equal points to Quentin Johnston. Okay, back to CD Lamb. He's not as reliable, so that's why I'm going Sutton and Jeudy. Now, if McConkey plays and you want to play him, he has been injured. You could probably, because Jeudy plays Kansas City, and you got to figure Judy's going to get some passes. Now, Sutton, the big deal is the Colts are pretty good against wide receivers, so there is some question about Sutton, but he has been putting up consistent numbers. I would swap out maybe Sutton for McConkey if McConkey's able to play, but just know that if you put McConkey in, and Footballer Nick may agree with me, I'm not sure, but the one thing I'd say about McConkey is even if he comes in, he has a knee issue. So I don't know, let's say that, he usually gets 10 targets, or that he's in 30 snaps or 85% of the snaps, or 90, let's say 90% of the snaps. What I'm saying is he may be in 75% of the snaps. What did I say? 10 targets. He may get like 6 targets because of that knee. He may not play much, which limits his ability to put up points. All right, let's see. So I would go Sutton and Jeudy. If you don't want to go with Sutton because you've heard about Indianapolis, and they are decent against wide receivers. I'm not worried about them, but I know some people are. Then you could swap out McConkey, but just know Flowers has not been putting up points, and CD is a little inconsistent compared to Sutton and Jeudy especially. And with Cooper Rush as a quarterback, everything's off. Starting Barkley, JT, and Charbonnet on flex. Your thoughts? I like Charbonnet, starting him. I like Barkley. Obviously, he's a top tier running back there. He's fantastic. What I would say is JT worries me. He's been very inconsistent, and the offense for the Colts has been very inconsistent. And just real quick, the defense against the Broncos defense against running backs is fairly good. They're ranked number 5 in the last 4 weeks. They've averaged 13.4 points on average to running backs, not one running back, the whole group of running backs per week, 13.4 points. So there is a good chance that, JT doesn't put up more than about 8 or 9 points on Sunday's game. All right, Higgins or Addison. I'll look that up, see what the experts say. I do like Addison in this matchup, and I almost fear saying, he did well against Minnesota the last time they played, because that has been the kiss of death. Either somebody does poorly and they play him better, or like in the case of Juwan Jennings, early in the season he played the Rams, scored 40 points. The other night he had 3. So they're saying T. Higgins, and probably that's due to the matchup against Tennessee. So the experts are picking T. Higgins, and that's probably a relatively safe bet. I figured, hey, Ill Will has followed me. Thank you very much for following me. I'll be live tomorrow morning before the first kickoff. I don't know why I'm losing my voice all of a sudden. I apologize for that. So if you have any questions on YouTube, please feel free. This is not TikTok exclusive or anything. My voice was cracking like the pavement. So anyway, they're saying Higgins, the experts are. I wouldn't necessarily disagree. I don't think it's that. I mean, if you want to maybe consider a riskier pick with Addison, where Higgins might be your 10 to 14 point person and Addison could be your 6 to 26 person. If you want to take that risk with Addison, you can definitely do that. But T. Higgins should be a good play against Tennessee. And by an extension, Burrow should be a good play against Tennessee as well. Now, Tennessee doesn't have a bad defense, but it's not a great defense, and Burrow makes a lot of defenses at this point look really bad. So, right, Etienne Leggett, as they all say, for flex. Well, let me look it up. Xavier Leggett. Now, I would say Leggett, but I know that in football circles they go Leggett. So, Travis Etienne has come back around. Isn't that interesting? Yeah, they're saying Travis Etienne. Let's just see what points he had. He had 974. God, he's so low in points. Leggett, the only thing about Leggett is I don't know that he gets the ball enough. 4.97, 7.6 against Kansas City. Thielen's been putting up all the points for the Panthers. So that's the one thing that probably takes away from Leggett. So I would probably go with Etienne, because I think Thielen will have a big game against Dallas. He has been having good games. I mean, I don't think he's had over 20 points. He's had 19 and 14 the last 2 weeks, but I think he will have a good game. Maybe he'll reach 20. But you still have Bryce Young. I mean, Bryce Young is not a perfect quarterback yet, so there probably will be mistakes made. But I would go with Travis Etienne on this one, because the Jets are just not a very good team. Let's see what the Jets do against running backs. Well, they're number 3 against running backs, so it's 12.1. But with Travis Etienne, you got to figure he'll be number 1. Bigsby might get some carries, so Travis will probably get 8 to 11 points. Maybe if he can get a touchdown, he can get more than 11. And Leggett probably gives you like 4 to 8 points. So that's how I would break that down. All right, let's see what we got here. We're all caught up on YouTube. Perfect. Don't forget on YouTube, hit that subscribe button. I go live every day. This is like my 10th or 11th day going live. This is my second live stream of the day on YouTube and TikTok. So probably that's why I'm losing my voice pretty well. But if you have any questions on YouTube, put them in the chat. I will look for them. But right now, I'm going to go back to TikTok. Don't forget, we have 3,300 likes on TikTok. Keep hitting that like button. Hit that follow button so you know when I'm around. You know when I'm on. Hit that subscribe button on YouTube. Next question. Oh, Yeah, did I not answer this? I don't think I answered this one. Starting Barkley. Oh yeah, starting Barkley, JT, and Charbonnet. Again, Barkley and Charbonnet, I think, are good starts. I don't think Walker's going to play, but if Walker plays, it's going to hurt Charbonnet's points because he will get some carries. JT has been very inconsistent, and that offense overall worries me a little bit. They're playing Denver, and Denver has a pretty decent with, defense. So, so I would worry about that just a touch. But okay, Etienne or Leggett. We talked about Mahomes or Herbert. Let me look that up, see what the experts say. I like Herbert's matchup this week, so that could be a good thing for Herbert because he's not been putting up, superstar numbers. That's for sure. All right, we got a few questions on YouTube. I'll get to you guys on YouTube right after I answer the Herbert Mahomes question, and I have a few more. Yeah, I would go with Herbert going against Tampa Bay. Is a good thing for him. Mahomes obviously against Cleveland. Cleveland's defense is pretty decent. It's not top tier. It's not Philadelphia's defense, but it's a pretty good defense. So I would go with Justin Herbert. I look for Justin Herbert to get over 20 points, which is great in, a 10-team league, a 12-team league, a 14-team league. So I think he'll put up some really good points. Okay, where are we at here? I went up rather than down. Okay, I'm going to go back here to TikTok right after I look at these. Would you go BTJ or DK in flex? Thanks. BTJ all day. DK been terrible lately. JSN the new number one. Well, yes and no. The thing about it is eventually DK will, they paid DK the big money for a reason. So he's going to get his spots. But you're right, JSN has been really, really good. So let me look up both and I'll tell you what the experts say. And I'll tell you if I agree with those experts. So they're saying DK Metcalf. I would think that, okay, so we have the Packers versus the Jets. The Packers and Jets. The Packers against wide receivers are number 7. The Jets are 20th. So I would actually go with Brian Thomas Jr. based on the matchup. The experts are saying 93% are saying that DK Metcalf would win. Okay. Or play DK Metcalf. I'm saying because of the matchup, I would go with Brian Thomas Jr. All right. And I think that's what Michael Hart said anyway. So, Michael, good response. I definitely agree. All right. Let's go back to TikTok. Charbonnet or Brian Robinson this week? Well, I think you have a classic case here of solid, steady in Brian Robinson Jr., and you could start him. He usually fills in 11 to 14 points every week. If you want to play Charbonnet, a little bit more of a risk. Will he do as well as he did last week? The jury is still sort of out. Green Bay has a pretty decent defense against running backs. They're not so good. They're 24th against running backs. But my point is, if you want steady, but maybe a lower number or a lower steady number, like I said, what I say, 11 to 14, 10 to 13, somewhere in there for Brian Robinson Jr. Charbonnet probably has 8 to 26 as his range of points. So if you're willing to roll the dice and say, hey, I'm going to go all in with Charbonnet, you can. He has a really high upside, but also know that he has a low floor as well. He has a high ceiling and a low floor. So, it could be really good. It could be really bad. Brian Robinson, though, probably get you 13 points, give or take 2. Ladd or T, I would go T because Ladd is nursing that knee injury, which is really bad there. So I would go with T. Higgins. Thielen or BTJ, I would go Thielen because he's been way more steady than BTJ if you have to pick between two. Michael Hart has, would you start, this is on YouTube, would you start, oh my God, it's like I can't read. Would you start A.J. Brown, T. Higgins, JSN, Devontae Adams, and Ladd McConkey? Oh, what 3? Jeez, oh. Okay. I wouldn't do A.J. Brown. I would do T. Higgins, JSN, and probably Devontae because my fear is Ladd might not play because he has a knee injury, number 1. Number 2, even if he does play, my fear with that, Michael Hart Jr., is the fact that even if Ladd plays, I have a feeling they may sort of coddle him, baby him, sort of wear white gloves, where say he's usually in 35 snaps or he gets 10 targets, it may be like 7 targets and 20 snaps, because they don't want him to re-injure to that knee, because they are trying to make a playoff spot and they figure they probably have enough wide receivers to catch the ball. So that's one reason why I don't believe that even if Ladd plays, that they'll want anything to happen to that knee, so they will sort of hold him back a little bit. AJ Brown, JSN. Okay, you're saying H. See, I would go JSN, T Higgins, and Devontae. You're saying AJ Brown, JSN, and Devontae Adams. See, they're going up against Pittsburgh, the Eagles. That's a pretty good defense. Hurts has not been putting up good numbers, so that's why I'm saying Higgins, JSN, and Devontae Adams. So we have a debate about one of the players. And Higgins, you got to remember, Cincinnati plays Tennessee, and I think Burrow's going to be thrown. They got to win their games to even have a chance for the playoffs. So Burrow is going to play motivated, and he's going to be looking to throw the ball all game. All right, Justin Johnson. Jeremy, we got the same start. Just saw you. Oh, start. Brees, Sutton, Neighbors, Wilson, full PPR. DeAndre Hopkins or Amari Cooper. DeAndre Hopkins or Amari Cooper. Well, let me look that one up. DeAndre Hopkins or Amari Cooper. All right. Hey, Zoe Geyser's here. Hey, Zoe, how are you? Good to see you. Yeah, I'd go, you know what? The experts even say it's a 50-50 split, and I would tend to agree with them. You might want to go DeAndre Hopkins because you figure they're playing Cleveland, and Cleveland could put up a decent amount of points, which means Mahomes will actually have to throw the ball a few times, stretch downfield. Now, Xavier Worthy does that a lot, but Hopkins can come up with the big catches. So I would lean towards DeAndre Hopkins by a little bit. I tend to, if let's say that DeAndre Hopkins is a 7.5 for his competition, Amari Cooper might be 7.25. So it's not a big difference, but just enough to make a difference. Start Devontae Smith, Shakir, or Myers. I would go Myers. He's steady and he plays the worst wide receiver defense in the NFL. So that is a big one to consider right there. In Atlanta, Devontae Smith has not been putting up great numbers. Shakir's been good, but Myers, I think, has been a little steadier, and the competition alone, the matchup specifically, is really in favor of Myers over Shakir playing Detroit. Okay, yeah, I agree. I feel he's safer than Cooper for sure, and Hopkins could blow up too. Thank you. All right. Did you have another question, Justin? Jeremy LaGrave, Brees, Sutton, Neighbors, Wilson, full PPR, start 3. Sutton, I would go Sutton, Wilson, and then you got a choice between Brees and Neighbors, in my mind. And the one thing I don't like about Brees is he has not been putting up big numbers, and Neighbors isn't too far behind him. And I don't think that, Baltimore. Well, you can pass against Baltimore, though. So Neighbors could be okay, but they have DeVito playing quarterback, and that scares me. Yeah. Wait. Oh, Amari Cooper. Let me take him out. Yeah, I would say it's Malik Neighbors by a little bit. So I'd go Malik Neighbors, Garrett Wilson, and Cortland Sutton. Brees Hall's just been, well, let me add a player here. Yeah, Sutton, Brees Hall. That's interesting. Hold on, let me go. Hey, Dylan's here. Dylan, I'll get to you in just 1 second. Brees Hall, Neighbors, Wilson. Oh, Wilson. Okay, so the experts say Cortland Sutton and Brees Hall. or the top two. I don't know about Breece Hall because he has not been putting up points. I think he had points a game or two ago 6, 27, 10, 9.5, 9.4 the last 5 weeks. So he went over 13 once. He plays Miami. Miami against the run. They were ranked better. I think. Have they dropped? Miami's 15th, so they're very middling. They give up 16.6. So I guess what you could do is let's just say you go Sutton. Well, wrong one. Sutton, Breece Hall, and then I would go Malik Nabers. I would have Malik Nabers and Courtland Sutton, and then it's a choice of which Jets player do you want. And so they're playing Jacksonville. So more than likely, let me just see. Jacksonville against the run they're 29. So yeah, I would go Breece Hall. I'd go Breece Hall, Sutton, and Nabers. All right. Let's see. Don't forget, let me do a quick reset. Hit that like button if you're on YouTube, if you're on TikTok. We have 3,800 likes on TikTok. Let's try to get that to 5,000. Why not? Also, if you're on YouTube, hit that subscribe button. I'll be live tomorrow morning before kickoff of the first group of games. I go live pretty much every day. This is like my 11th or 12th day in a row of going live. So you can hear me then or see me and ask me any questions. Hey, smiley face with the teeth. Jeez, dude. I haven't seen you in forever. Where have you been? Where have you been, my man? Great to have you back. And don't forget, if you guys want to jump the line too on YouTube, if you're there, they have gifts just like TikTok where you can get, like roses on TikTok. They have things for like a penny. You have to buy them in bundles, but you can do the same thing. So let me look up smiley face with the teeth. Actually, first, because he is a subscriber, where I just passed him up. Dylan, Myers or McConkey? I would go Myers. And Dylan, hey, don't forget, guys, also on the reset, it's below me on TikTok. It's above me on YouTube. Don't forget, go to that QR code, sign up for our free fantasy football league. All right. The draft is tomorrow. You don't have to be live to be on the draft. I think I will have the draft live. You can just set your player list and the computer will pick for you. You don't have to be live, but the draft is tomorrow and we need at least 4 to sign up. When I checked like 4 days ago, we had 3 people. I'm guessing, I know Dylan signed up, so that gives us at least 4, but it's free, completely free. And if you win, you get as a prize the golf balls that my daughter and son helped me create. They're perfect for their Rhino 305. You can go to rhino305.com to look them up a little bit more, but they're great for casual golfers, beginners, seniors, juniors, ladies, students, all of those kinds of things. They're a great golf ball. They're not too expensive. They help you hit it straight and long. All right. I am going to say, please try not to spam me. I see a couple people spamming on TikTok. Please try not to do that. All right, let me go to Dylan. Myers or McConkey? Here's the thing. McConkey has a knee injury, Dylan, so that worries me. And smiley face with the teeth, I'll get to you next. Dylan was on here, and he's a subscriber, so I have to – it's a pecking order. McConkey's knee injury, even if he plays, my worry is that they hold him out of some plays so that he doesn't re-injure his knee. And Myers goes up against the worst defense against wide receivers in the NFL in the Falcons. I think he'll have a good game. I don't think he'll have a crazy game, 25 points, but I think he gets you 14 points, give or take 2. So I would go with Myers. I think he's a real steady pick. Smiley Teeth, I missed you too, Smiley Teeth. Where have you been, buddy? Dylan, I don't even know if you were around when Smiley Teeth was messaging, was on live stream. I haven't seen him in forever. Where have you been, buddy? Is Black Dot here? Oh, no, that's Cartmana. Never mind. They have a name. Well, Smiley Teeth with the smiley face with the teeth. I'm not seeing a question, but I see the miss you, and I miss you too, buddy. I miss you. I love when you're on. Is Black Dot here? Let me see this for a second. Oh, no, it's Collins here, but this isn't Collins. I think this is Black Dot. Is that Black Dot? Yes! Black Dot's here. Collins here. Dylan's here. Smiley Teeth is here. Zoe Geyser's on the stream. Earlier, Footballer Nick was on YouTube. We got the whole band back together. All right. Well, Smiley Teeth, smiley face with the teeth. And I don't see your question. So I'm going to answer Black Dot because, you know, I love Black Dot. Hubbard or Connor and Adams or McLaurin? Oh, that's an interesting one. Hubbard or Connor? Let's look that up first. I like what Hubbard's been doing the last couple of weeks. He's been really racking up, you know, a good amount of points, 18 to 22. So let's go Connor and Hubbard. And I like the matchup with Hubbard against Dallas. Yeah, I'd go Chuba Hubbard. That one was kind of an easy one. He's been putting up some really good numbers. And then Adams or McLaurin. Now, here's the thing with Adams and McLaurin. Adams might be, in my mind, a little bit more of a riskier pick than McLaurin. McLaurin puts up, as you know, really steady points, you know, and he goes up against New Orleans, Davante Adams against Jacksonville. I would go with McLaurin. You look at his numbers, it's 23-18. He did have 1.5 against Philadelphia. I don't know what happened there. 13, 14, 15, 12.8, 20, 11.4. Outside of the disaster against Philadelphia, I guess the quarterback probably blew up too. I think that was that really bad game. But he's had 23-18 the last 2 weeks. He goes up against New Orleans. They're not very good against the pass. Let's just double check that. You can't see any comments, Zoe Geyser? You gotta come on. You can't see any. Oh, well, I'm also on TikTok, Zoe Geyser. So I'm on 2 different computers, and I'm on TikTok, YouTube, and Twitch, but I don't really have any following on Twitch. What was I looking up? I was looking somebody up here. I was looking up McLaurin. Yeah. New Orleans against wide receivers. Come on, don't make me sound foolish. Yeah, they're 25th. I would go McLaurin. He's very steady. Adams is a little bit riskier. He might be one of those guys that you want to play if you want to get 25 points, as opposed to McLaurin, who usually gets in the teens someplace. So you could do that, but it's a riskier pick. Hold on 1 second, everybody. I have a space heater on, and it was boiling up here. So, all right, let's see. Let's go back to TikTok. Don't forget on TikTok to hit that follow button. I'll be live tomorrow morning. Black Dot, you're the best, dude. You're the best. Thanks for being here. Eli hits bombs. What's up again? Eli, the man. You know, Eli, one day I want to like go to your games, and like when you're up to bat, like I live in St. Louis, like at Busch Stadium, I want to say, now batting, Eli hits bombs, and then I want you to crank one out for me, okay? All right, Breaking Cute. Ooh, good name. I like that name. AJ Brown, Drake London, CD, Josh Jacobs, Monty, DK, bench 2. I would bench AJ Brown. He's not putting up points. Jacobs is good. Monty is good. London. AJ Brown. Okay, I would bench AJ Brown. He's not but hold on. I'm going to look up AJ Brown, London, CD, and DK, and I'll tell you which 2 to bench. AJ Brown. It's in the game. Oh, I just got rid of the guy. The experts love AJ Brown, by the way, but he's just not been putting up any points. London has not been putting up points on a regular basis. CD, I wouldn't sit CD. AJ Brown, Drake, Josh Jacobs. Okay, AJ Brown, Drake, and DK would be the 2 or the 3 that I would be looking at. I would sit. Well, hold on. Yeah, I would sit AJ Brown because they're playing Pittsburgh and they have a good defense, and I would sit DK Metcalf. I think Atlanta could do well against Las Vegas, and that would be good for London. I would sit AJ Brown and DK Metcalf. And chat, if I'm wrong, jump in and tell me I'm full of it, but I would sit AJ Brown and DK Metcalf. So, all right, Eli hits bomb. Swift or Tracy? Oy, okay. Oh, do we know that Swift is going to play though? Jacoby Myers is active for the game Monday night, just so everybody knows. He was questionable up until earlier. Swift, wasn't he injured? I swear that he was. But oh yeah, he's still listed as questionable. From 133 is listed as questionable for Monday's contest. I don't have nothing else more since 130. That's effectively the same cadence the 5th-year back. Swift managed to practice in limited fashion Saturday. He didn't practice the past 2 days, so it's probably pointing in a good direction for Swift. So it looks like you may have to make this choice. Where was that question again? It was okay, Swift or Tracy. Well, let me look this up because Tracy, as you know, goes up against Baltimore, and they're decent still against the run. It's not a easy matchup. Yeah, the experts are picking Tyrone Tracy, and I would probably go with him. DeAndre Swift just has not been putting up numbers. And, 4, 8, 8, 15, 7, those just are not good numbers. And you look at Tyrone Tracy the last few weeks 16, 13, 7, 14, 7. He plays Baltimore. I mean, that's going to be against Pittsburgh. He had 22, but that might have been with Daniel Jones for all I remember. It's been a weird, last few months for the Giants, but he's put up good numbers. I would go with Tyrone Tracy, though. I would agree with them. All right, Westbrook Ekine or Elijah Moore? Oh, Westbrook Ekine. He broke my heart a couple weeks ago. Bukowski's here. Wow, what's up, buddy? How are you? All right, Westbrook Ekine or Elijah Moore? I thought Westbrook Ekine was on the brink of stardom. They're saying Elijah Moore. Elijah Moore's had 4, 15, 3, 15. Yeah. The 4 and the 3 were both against Pittsburgh. So Pittsburgh held him in check. Against Denver, he had 15, which is probably more in line with what Kansas City is against wide receivers. Let's just see. The Broncos are 29th and Kansas City's 20th. Wow. The Broncos have dropped off from wide receiver. So I don't know that Elijah Moore gets 15, but I think he probably gets between 11 and 14 based on how he did against Denver. So I would go with Elijah Moore on that one. Hey, Carter, how are you? Dropping by saying hi. See that? Sutton or Dottle? Let's look it up. Dottle has a really good matchup, obviously, against. It's a good matchup for West Akine, but they do have other receivers. That's the thing. Tennessee. I mean, Ridley being one of them. So I just don't know that it's a decent opportunity, but his numbers have not been great, unfortunately for him. All right. So Sutton or Dottle, that's what I was looking up. Yeah, they're saying Rico Dottle, and I would go with that because they're going against Carolina. And Rico has been putting up, 14, 19, 9 the last 3 weeks. Cincinnati had 14. He goes up against Carolina. They're another bad team. Let's see what Cincinnati and the Giants are against the run and compare that to Carolina. Carolina's 25th. Cincinnati's 28th. Cincinnati gives up 22 points on average over the last 4 weeks. The Panthers give up 20. So he probably, Dottle, will be right around, give or take 1 or 2 points that he had against Cincinnati, potentially, 12, 14 points. Jeudy or BTJ? I would go BTJ basically, or I would go Jeudy because he's been much more consistent and we know that he can play, or we know that against Kansas City you can pass. Jeudy's clearly the number one. He's been very steady, putting up double digits. BTJ not as steady, and we can't always, they don't have the greatest quarterback. Jameis Winston is leading the Browns quite well, so for that reason, I would go with Jeudy. Jeudy's has just been much steadier. I'll let me see what the experts say. This is just like an algorithm that looks up, I don't know, 20 experts in fantasy, and they rank all the players week to week to week and see what the ranking is. And sometimes I agree, sometimes I don't. But I like to show that because everybody always says to me, "Oh, well, no one else says that." Yeah, they're going with Jerry Jeudy as well. So I would agree with them. I don't always agree with them, and I let you guys know it. But in this case, I would agree with them. All right, let's see. Would you play Flowers or Scary Terry? I would play, this is a different Dylan, but I would play Scary Terry. And the reason why is New Orleans is bad. They're not a very good defensive team against wide receivers. They're 25th. Scary Terry puts up 13 points like clockwork every game, or give or take 1 or 2 points. So that's why I would do it. Flowers can have 4 points. He could have 14 points. All over the place. Scary Terry is very steady. All right, Adams or JSN. Let's look that up. It's a good question to ask right now. Smith, Adams. I bet you they say Adams. Yeah, they really go with. Well, the other thing about it is the Jets do play Jacksonville, and Seattle plays Green Bay, and Green Bay's defense, like Green Bay or not, Green Bay's defense is number 7 against wide receivers, and Jacksonville is 24th. So it's a really good matchup for the Jets. So I would agree with that as well. Davante Adams. Yep. All right, Kraft or Ertz? Ooh, tight end question. I was getting a ton of those earlier today when I was on. Ertz. Let's see. Zach Ertz. They're saying Kraft. Let's see. Zach Ertz. Zach Ertz is at 11, 12, 15. He goes up against New Orleans. Why are they saying this? Kraft, though, has been putting up some good points. 11, 10, 9. Well, let's see what the Seahawks do against tight ends and what the Saints do against tight ends. The Saints are number 5 against tight ends. The Seahawks are number 10. The Saints give up 5.3 points. The Seahawks give up 6.6, so about 1.5 points difference. So I guess because of that, Tucker Kraft has a little bit better of a matchup. Although if you went with Zach Ertz, I wouldn't disagree because he's been a lot more consistent. So let me jump over to YouTube real quick. Kincaid, Juwan Johnson, Sean Smart, Calcaterra, full PPR. So Taylor, you have 4 tight ends on your team. You got to narrow that down. I mean, you just have to narrow that. You don't have 4 tight ends on your team, Taylor. Give me the top 2 and I'll look that up. But I'm not looking up 4 tight ends. All right. Because the thing about it is I don't believe you have 4 tight ends on your team. Would you play Flowers or Scary Terry? I answered that one. Jeudy or BTJ? All right, Taylor, I'll look it up. Kincaid or Johnson? Let's look it up. Kincaid was injured. He doesn't put up a lot of points. 3, 5, 11, 6.7, 8. I would not. Kincaid is not. Let me look up Johnson. Wait a second. Juwan Johnson. I put in Rashawn Johnson. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, I would go Juwan Johnson. Has he been? Yeah, 13, 6, 10. Yeah, he's been putting up more points. Johnson is clearly better. I'll look up Smart and Calcaterra. I'll look it up. It's not a problem. I just, when you give me 4 tight ends, I'm like, you don't have 4 tight ends on your team. That's all. Like, I'm not trying to be a jerk, but yeah, I would play Juwan Johnson, Smart, and let's see what Smart's been doing. I have not looked him up. He had 6.9, 0.8. Not bad. Calcaterra, he had 9 against Carolina, but he plays Pittsburgh. That's going to be a tough matchup for anybody. So, yeah, I would go with Johnson on that one, Taylor. All right. If Bucky Irving doesn't play, would you go Jeudy or Rachaad White? I would probably go Rachaad White. He's going to pick up the points. Jeudy probably gives you in the teens, like not the 12s to teens, but like 12 to 15 points probably. All right. But Rachaad White can get, if Irving isn't playing, Rachaad White could get 13 or 23. I mean, they put up in the 20s, those two guys. The offense in Tampa Bay has completely changed. Earlier in the season, the first couple of weeks, it was all about Godwin and Evans. Now it's really about Rachaad White and Bucky Irving. They've gone from a pure pass crazy offense to a little more balance, run plays, and they do throw the ball to their backs. So they're a lot different than they were, and they have Evans, but they don't have Godwin back. They're trying to bring along Jalen McLaurin, is it McMillan? But he's not catching fires as they had thought. You're trusting Ladd if he plays, or is it too risky? Dylan asks. It depends who you have that you can replace Ladd for. I'm worried about if he plays and that knee's still bad, them holding him back a little bit. Okay. I don't want them to hold him back, but I mean, how can they not? He's missed some time. He's missed practices. He has a bad knee. I can't imagine he's going to be in the same number of snaps that he usually is. So for that reason, I'm worried about the number of targets he gets. I'm worried about, his average workload if he does play. All right. Joey Haddad, Achane, Bijan, Saquon, Charbonnet start 3. Well, I mean, you got to start Achane and Saquon, and then it's a matchup between, I guess, Bijan and Charbonnet. Let me just look them up. Truthfully, I would go Achane, Bijan, and Saquon. I mean, I can't not endorse them. I mean, they're top of the line running backs, and you're very lucky to have them on your team. I mean, this is one of those decisions that while it might be a little tough for you, it's a good decision to have. Most people don't have this kind of decision. Yeah. They're saying Saquon, Bijan, and Devon. I would agree with that. Now, if you wanted to swap out, maybe, let's just see, against Houston against running backs. Where are they? Houston is number 3 against running backs. So if you wanted to swap anybody out for Charbonnet, it probably would be Achane based on the matchup. Barkley against Pittsburgh. So Steelers and Raiders. Steelers and Raiders against the run. Steelers are 14. Raiders are 11. Texans are 3. Green Bay is 24. So what you could do is play Charbonnet and hold out Achane. But I don't know that I would do that. I mean, Achane, Achane has 15, 17, 19, 18, 7, 28, 23, 9. I mean, pretty steady over the last 4 weeks 18, 19, 17, 15. He's gone up against Green Bay and got 17. Jets, New England. He hasn't played really tough. He had 28 against Buffalo. I guess they haven't. Let me see. What is Buffalo against the run? They're 18th. So he really hasn't gone up, Achane, against really tough defenses. Like you'll see Detroit. Why am I saying that? Detroit. It has nothing to do with the other. Houston, though, is tied for third at 12.1. So if you wanted to start Charbonnet instead of Achane, you could do that. If you figure Achane is a top tier guy, which he is, you could start Achane over Charbonnet, but that would be the only swap that I would make. All right, let's see what we got. Let me do a reset real quick. Don't forget to hit that follow button on TikTok. I go live. This is like my 11th or 12th day in a row going live. If you're on YouTube, a couple people just dropped off as I said that. Hit that subscribe button so you know when I'm live. Hit the like button both on TikTok and on YouTube. You can keep hitting it on TikTok. We're at 4,500 likes. Let's get to 5,000. Also, just as I haven't said in a while, below me on TikTok and above me on YouTube is a QR code. That's for a free fantasy basketball league on Yahoo that I've set up. So please go ahead and sign up for that. All right. Let's see. Hey, we have some chatters talking to each other. I'd go Terry Dillon. The defensive matchup is good. Let's see what Dillon has. So I agree, Terry over Flowers, but is it smart to play Flowers since my opponent has Lamar? But is it smart to play Flowers? He might not throw to Flowers. Like, I see what you're saying, but if Flowers was catching a touchdown every game or putting up 100 yards every single game, yes, that would be smart. But here's the problem, okay? Flowers is extraordinarily inconsistent and he's not putting up massive yards. Oh, come on. For example, he had 3 catches for 74, 5 for 62, 2 for 39, and 1 touchdown. That was 3 weeks ago. 4 for 34. He did have in weeks 8 and 9, he went over 100, 115, 127, and he had 2 touchdowns week 9 against Detroit. But in the last 4 weeks, Flowers only has 1 touchdown, and he's only gone over 70 yards receiving 1 time in the last 4 weeks. So what I'm saying is he could lay an egg. I mean, if Flowers was putting up points that, who's the other guy that you have? Yeah, Terry puts up bigger points than Flowers does week in and week out. And for that reason, I would pick Terry. And I like your mindset. I like where you're going with the strategy, but Flowers, I'm just going to use an example. 20 years ago or whatever it was, 15 years ago, I don't even remember. I had Peyton Manning as my starting quarterback, and I had the original MHJ, Marvin Harrison Sr., on my team. And so they would almost every game have a touchdown together, or Harrison would have 80 yards or more receiving every game. So I would get all those points. But in this regard, that doesn't happen. And if Flowers has a bad game, that's actually going to hurt you than playing McLaurin, because McLaurin gets literally 13 points every single game. Flowers has not been that consistent. The only thing about it is they do play the Giants, and the Giants are just not a very good team. What are the Giants against wide receivers, though? Let me look that up. Giants are number 3 against wide receivers. So of all the places, Flowers is going to have a tough competition against the Giants this week. So yeah, I like where you're going, but with Flowers and Jamar against the Giants, probably not a great matchup for it. Bower, Stroud, Ertz, or Henry? Asked Johnny over on YouTube. Bo or Stroud? I'm leaning towards Bo, but let me see here. Let me look it up. Bo Nix or CJ Stroud, everybody. Yeah, I'd go Bo Nix, and then you have Ertz or Henry. Obviously, you have Hunter Henry, not Derrick Henry. I get real literal when people send me these things, and I'm always off. Now they're saying Hunter Henry. What's Zach Ertz been doing? I don't know how you don't play Ertz. Why are the experts pick Hunter Henry here against Arizona? Okay, Arizona, the Cardinals versus the Saints. What are they against tight ends? Let's just look this up. The Saints are 5th. Where are the Cardinals? Why can't I find the Cardinals? Cardinals are 8th. So they're pretty tough again. They're basically even. I would go with Zach Ertz because he's been way more more consistent than Ertz. The experts, though, for what that's worth, it's like 20 guys. This is some sort of website I go to where I find where these 20 guys have ranked people, and they give you, who's ranked a little bit higher. And they're saying Hunter Henry. I would go with Zach Ertz, though. He's been much more steady, consistent, if you will, and he goes up against New Orleans, and overall they're not a great team. At one time Arizona had a much better defense than New Orleans. Now they've dropped back a little bit, but Arizona's defense was very good there for a while. So I would go Zach Ertz. The experts are picking Hunter Henry. I'll let you decide. I would go with Ertz though, because he has had 11, 12.8, and 15.7. And 15.7 was against Philadelphia. Tennessee, he got 11. Dallas, he got 12.8. I just think he's been a lot more consistent over the last 3 weeks. So let me jump back to TikTok. Yeah. I mean, you look at Hunter Henry, he had 11, 6.9, 9.3, 1.9. Ertz is playing better. He's got bigger numbers. So I agree, Terry over Flowers. But is it smart to play? Okay, I did that one. So I'm going to go to, Maddie, pick 2, JT, Charbonnet, Judy. I would go Charbonnet and Judy. Bob's here, everybody. My main man, Bob. Hey, Bob. How's it going, buddy? Hope all is well. Maddie, I would go Charbonnet and Judy. JT just doesn't put up consistent numbers. Ahan, I believe I'm saying that right. 313. Tracy or Brees? I'm going to go Tracy only because Brees has been really hit or miss. And Tracy, yes, he goes up against Baltimore. And yes, Baltimore at least used to have a very stingy running back defense. Defense against running backs are not quite as good. But I would go with Tracy. He puts up better points. I mean, if you want to take a risk and go with Brees and hope that he can get against Jacksonville 25 points, that's a risk and you can do that. But I think Tracy probably gets you 10 to 14 points. Bob, my man Bob, asks Addison or Charbonnet. Well, let's look and see what those great guys called the experts say. Charbonnet and Addison. This is a tough one, but I would go with Zach. They both have pretty good matchups, with Addison playing Chicago, or the Vikings playing Chicago, and Seattle playing Green Bay. But I would go with Charbonnet. Let's see. And I know I've answered this question 18 times, but Green Bay is 24th against running backs. And because of that, that's why I would go there. The Bears are 19th. They give up 24.4, but you got to figure that Addison and Justin Jefferson are going to kind of split that 24. Let's say it's 28 even. Somebody's going to get 14, or maybe they both get 14, but someone might get 15, someone might get 13. I think Charbonnet has, 15 as a minimum, give or take one, and can have a higher end on that based on the matchup. Aaron Rodgers or Jordan Love this week. But thank you, Bob, very much for all the roses, all the DMs, all of the roses over the last since I think day one. Actually, you were one of the first. So, but thank you very much. Jasper, Aaron Rodgers or Jordan Love. Now, this is a question I have not gotten very much. So you must be in a deep league, or for some reason you must think that Aaron Rodgers is still Aaron Rodgers. Love hasn't even been, yeah. I can't believe this. The experts are saying Jordan Love. Let me just see what Love 14, 19, 14, 21 over the last 4 weeks. Aaron Rodgers 17, 15, 16, 4. Well, Love does have more points over the last 4 weeks. They go up against Seattle. Rodgers has a much favorable. Well, let's look up. Okay, the Seahawks or Jacksonville against quarterbacks. The Seahawks are 8th. They give up 19.4, which is not bad. Jacksonville gives up 22.1, which is like 3 points difference. I mean, I would think that Aaron Rodgers could make that 3 points difference matter, but the experts are picking Jordan Love. I mean, this is kind of a 50-50. Aaron Rodgers has not been putting up great points. Jordan Love has been putting up a little bit better points over the last 4 weeks. But Rodgers has a good matchup, but it's not, when you look at it, obviously, it's not as great. The Seahawks give up 19.4. And, you know, if your quarterback gets 19 or over in a 10-team league, that's good. And it sounds like you might be in a big, big league. I don't know. Hey, Bob, thank you for the hat and mustache. Appreciate it. They always have that on too short. I can never have more fun with that. Oh boy. The matchup favors Rodgers, but Rodgers doesn't play well. The experts pick Love. I'm not in love with Love. I don't think he puts up great numbers. I think the matchup helps out, but Nathaniel, we are live, Nathaniel. Why aren't you on TikTok, Nathaniel? Being my mod. So yeah, boy. I guess I would go with Jordan Love. I would agree with the experts. But Aaron Rodgers' matchup is really, really, it's not as great as I thought because they're closer. You know, I thought Jacksonville might be a lot, give up a lot more points on average over the last 4 weeks. But yeah, I would go with Jordan Love because it is closer than I thought. All right, let's check it out. Oh, Ron, there you are, buddy. All right. He's my third. All right. You're talking about quarterbacks, probably, right? Scary Terry. Oh my God, Scary Terry's on. What are we gonna do? I didn't know this. I'd go Love. Yeah, I'd go Love, Dylan. You're right. Pacheco, pick 2, start 2. Pacheco, Waddle, Metcalf, Marvin, Harrison. Well, I would go Pacheco because I think he's going to get relatively close to 20 carries this week. He's had 7, 14. I think they're bringing him along slowly. But let me just see here. Pacheco, Waddle, Metcalf, and Harrison. Well, they're not helping me out here. They're definitely saying Pacheco, and then they're saying DK Metcalf. That's what the experts pick. I would go with Waddle and Pacheco because Waddle has, Metcalf has not been putting up numbers. 6.9, 8.6, 7.9, 10.5 last 4 games. All right. And then you look at Waddle, and he has 16, 9, 24, and then the 4.7, which is low, but he's had 24, 9, and 16 over the last 3 weeks. Metcalf, 6, 8, 7.9. I would go Waddle because of the way he's been playing. I look up what the experts tell me, but I don't always go with the experts, and I let you guys know that. And maybe that makes me crazy. Maybe that makes me different than other people on TikTok. I don't know. But I do know I'm going to have a real quick reset, everybody. Hit that like button, especially on TikTok. We're at 5,000. Let's get to 6,000. And if you're over on YouTube, hit that subscribe button. Hit the follow button on TikTok so you know when I go live. I've been live, I think, like 11 days in a row. I'll be live tomorrow morning before the kickoff of the first group of games, which is always fun. People are, frantically chatting me, and I'm frantically trying to give them an answer so I don't miss the kickoff and all that kind of fun stuff. But I'll probably be on about an hour and a half before kickoff. So it should give you enough time, but you can look for me. But definitely hit that follow button on TikTok and subscribe button on YouTube, and hit that like button on YouTube as well. You can only do it once on YouTube, but definitely hit that. All right, Jasper asked, what about Russell? Russell is your third. Okay. Well, let's look up. We had Russell. We had Rogers. If I can spell it right, there's no A in Rogers. And then the other one was who? Oh, man. See, this is when, darn it. Who was the other quarterback? Aaron Rodgers. Oh, Jordan Love. All right. They're saying Aaron Rodgers. They're saying Jordan Love again. They're saying Jordan Love and then Russell Wilson. They're saying Jordan Love and then Russell Wilson. And I guess it's because Russell Wilson goes up against Philadelphia. It's probably more matchup based, and Love goes up against Seattle and Philadelphia against quarterbacks, just so you know. Well, they're not as good as they once were, but they're 11th. Let me just look this up. Seattle against quarterbacks is 8th. So they're actually tougher. It's not a matchup thing, huh? Wow. Oh, Pickens is out though. So that might be why they're saying things might not be so great for Wilson. So yeah, I would go with Love based on that because Pickens is out. Let me just double check on that. And don't forget, everybody. Oh, he is out. Yeah, definitely. He has an O by his name. He will not play. So it might be a long day for Russell Wilson because he doesn't have him out there. All right. Don't forget to keep hitting that like button. Oh, we're at 6,000. That's awesome. All right. What do you think between Breece Hall and Jakobi Meyers? Apple user, hey, just like me. I would go Jakobi Meyers. Jakobi Meyers today was listed as active for Monday night's game. He's been putting up a good number of points week after week after week. Breece Hall has not been. Now, Breece Hall goes up against Jacksonville, but the offense with the Jets is not stellar. So I would go Jakobi Meyers. He's been putting up about 14 points all the time. Zay, Addison, Charbonnet, Shakir. Zay, Addison, Charbonnet, Shakir as Bob. And I'm always giving in to Bob because he's one of my OGs. So let's see. Zay, Addison, and he donated earlier. And he gave a finger heart, and he gave a hat and mustache, which I love, but they never leave on long enough. Shakir. Okay, now they're saying Charbonnet out of all four of them. Now let's look at Flowers, Addison, and Shakir. They're saying Flowers, actually. I guess because they're going up against the Giants. And Addison, though, Addison had 26 points against Chicago. Now, usually it goes the other way. You go from 26 points to like 13, but I would take 13. I don't love the Khalil Shakir because they're going up against Detroit. I would say it's between Zay and Addison, and it's real close, guys. I would go Addison because he has been putting up good numbers. 35-7, 26-13 over the last 4 weeks. The 7.4, not so great. Zay Flowers, on the other hand, has 8.6, 8.7, 10, and 5. So I'm leaning towards Charbonnet and Addison to play based on the matchup. I don't even want to really worry about what Addison did against Chicago last time because those things, I swear to God, especially when they're interdivisional, well, they have to be interdivisional. It's like one game it's 26, the next game it's 13. Now you could look at that, but on the other hand, I think it was a tight end. There was a tight end I was looking up who played Pittsburgh twice. I don't think it was Njoku. Oh, it was Elijah Moore, I think. It was a wide receiver for Cleveland who played Pittsburgh twice, and he had like 3.6 one game against Pittsburgh and 3.4 the other. So they held him in check, and that's what happens. That's a big deal. So, Yeah, I would go Addison and Charbonnet. The experts are saying Charbonnet and Flowers. So if you want to go with the 20 experts, Bob, be my guest. I'm not going to get mad about it. I just think Addison has been playing better than Flowers. All right. Don't forget to hit those like buttons and follow buttons, especially if you're on TikTok. We have a lot of questions coming in. Here's one: Boswell or Sanders? We have a kicker question. I love Boswell, but I know going up against Philadelphia, I have Boswell on one of my teams, and he's done very well. But let's see. They're saying Jason Sanders, and my guess is the Pittsburgh Philly game could be very low scoring. Maybe 2 field goals, maybe 2 touchdowns. You're looking at maybe 8 points from Boswell. Miami against Houston could be the antithesis of that, really. It could be, 3 field goals and 4 touchdowns. So, and I'm just taking 3 points. I'm not assuming it's a 50-yarder or 40-yarder, but if it's, 3 or 4 field goals, let's say it's 4, that's 12 points right there with Jason Sanders. So probably not a bad day. And I would agree with the experts on this one to play Jason Sanders. Darnell Mooney or Tyrone Tracy. Wix Moto, who I think was on earlier today. Thanks for coming back, Wix. I do appreciate it. Great job. Luis Montes okay, here we go. Zach Ertz or Mark Andrews, and why? Ooh, I like the why part. Andrews and Ertz. I think Ertz. Yeah, Ertz has had some good. They're saying Andrews. He's had 15, 13. Yeah, he's put up good points. He goes up against the Giants. The Giants against tight ends. It's a very tight end centric day. The Giants are middling. They're 18th against tight ends defensively. Yeah, I mean, Andrews has had good back-to-back weeks. Okay, now Ertz goes up against New Orleans. He's had 11, 12, 15. He's had 3 weeks of good points. New Orleans against tight ends. Where are we at? I can't find them. They're number 5. So, and the Giants, okay, so the Saints give up 5.3 points to tight ends, and the Giants give up 8.3. So a difference of 3 points exactly. I guess that makes sense. And we know that Andrews has had a good year overall. So it's not the worst thing for me to agree with the experts on this one. But I could see where you would go with Ertz. He's had 3 good weeks, but his matchup is a little bit tougher than Andrews. And because of the matchups, I would go with Andrews. So there's the why there, Lewis. Wix Moto. I feel like B. Robinson will get more than Montgomery, who has split carries with Gibbs. Split carries. I can't read today. You spelled it right. Well, Robinson, let me look up both players. I'm not going to compare them quite yet. Robinson is very consistent. I know Montgomery is too. Okay, let me look up Montgomery. Montgomery and Robinson. Let's just see. Where is he at here? There he is. Okay, so Robinson has 17. He did, I don't know if he got injured or not against Dallas or what was going on, but maybe they had to pass the ball. He had only 5 rushing attempts against Dallas and 2.9 points, but he's had 17, the 2.9, 13. He had 8 against Chicago, but I think, did he get injured during that game or something? Because then he was out for 2 games. 13 points, 13 points, 18 points, 10 points, 14 points, 16 points. Very steady. We look at Montgomery, he's very steady. 16, 13, 14, 23, 12, 11. Buffalo against, did I already look this up? Buffalo against running backs, I did not. Buffalo against running backs. Oh my God, I hate when I can't find it. Buffalo is 18. And New Orleans against running backs is 10. So New Orleans gives up 15.3. Buffalo gives up 18.3 or 18.2. So it's about a difference of 3 points. Well, let's see here. We're going Montgomery. Let's see what the experts say now that I kind of think there's a lot of similarities here. I know that you're talking about Montgomery and he splits his carries, but he still puts up good points. So the splitting the carries, it's been good for both of them. And it keeps them stronger because they're not playing all the time. Now the experts 53-47 pick David Montgomery. So this is really a flip of the coin in many ways. They both have the most accurate experts lean towards Brian Robinson, though. So, I mean, this is unbelievable. I would go with Montgomery because he's had really solid weeks where, Robinson had the 2.9 and things like that or whatever it was. Yeah, 2.9 against Dallas. He has 3 weeks and then he was off for 2 and then he had 8 and then he had 13. Montgomery's had 16, 13, 14, 23. He's gone over 13 points in a 10-team league. That's what you want. 4 of 4 last games. So I would go with Montgomery based on that. Yes, he splits carries, but he puts up good numbers even though he splits carries with Gibbs. All right. Any new questions? We are live. Don't forget to hit that follow button so you know when I'm live. Oh, this is Green Dot or Green Eye Guy. Generic Avatar Green Eye Guy. I mean, that's a lot of words here. Start Cook, Judy, Addison, or Amari Cooper at flex this week. Well, I'll see what the experts say. I'm leaning towards Judy. I think he should have a good number. He's the number one. Addison has somewhat of a tough matchup against, it's an okay matchup. Cooper and Cook have a tougher matchup. Let me just put these up. Cooper Kupp. Let me see. Cooper Kupp. Hey, look, it's Cooper Kupp. Cooper Cook. I'm sorry. God. Amari Cooper. James Cook. Where did we go here? Addison and Judy. I'll tell you what the experts picked. They picked James Cook. But here's the problem I have with picking James Cook, all right? The Lions are number one against the run. They give up 10.0 points. Now, Cook could be over that. Cook could get 13 points, all right? But the Lions have, over the last 4 weeks, averaged the lowest number of points per running back group. It's not like every running back averages 10. It's all running backs. So let me take Cook out of the equation. And then they say Jerry Jeudy. See, I would go with Jerry Jeudy because I think against Kansas City, I think he gets 13 points against Kansas City, where James Cook has a good week if he gets 13 points. I think Jerry Jeudy's base is like 12 to 13 points. And he can go upwards after that because you can pass against Kansas City. And I think every team that's played him has shown that. So I would go Jerry Jeudy. The experts say James Cook. All right. And the experts are a group of people from like RotoWire and Fantasy Pros and all these other websites. So, they're legit people. They rank the players. And so they just look up, this algorithm looks up where the rankings are and tells you who wins the matchups, essentially. And they usually pick one for you. Well, they don't always pick one, but they'll tell you like, yeah, I would go I would go Jerry Jeudy. They're saying James Cook. I think James Cook could have a real tough day against that defense, even though the defense has been injured a lot. All right, but thank you, Generic with 2 eyes. Would you go James Cook over Monty or keep Monty at running back? I would keep Monty at running back. Terry or Wilson? I would go Scary Terry, Lalo. All right, don't forget to hit that like button. If you're on YouTube, don't forget to hit subscribe. If you are on TikTok, hit that like button. We're at 7,800. Can we get to 8,000? And we have 14 people that have signed up on TikTok to follow me. I don't know that I need my glasses anymore. My eyes are fine. So let's try to get more follows. I go live pretty much every day. This is like my 11th or 12th day in a row. I'll be live before the kickoff of the early games. Terry or Wilson? Terry. Start McLaurin or Sutton? Well, let's see. Let's see what the experts. This is actually a good one because I actually believe that both of them are relatively steady. They might go McLaurin, though. No, they're going Courtland Sutton. Courtland Sutton has been very steady. I would go with Courtland Sutton. He has a little bit higher number that he gets to. McLaurin really stays in that like 12 to 14 range. Courtland Sutton can kind of touch the 20s or the high teens. And for that reason, I would go with Courtland Sutton. They both have pretty good matchups. McLaurin's matchup might be a little bit better. McLaurin might be a little bit steadier because I think he's done it all season, where Courtland's only done it like over the last 6 or 7 games until Nix got, I'll just look it up. Sutton has had 13, 25, 11, 16, 19, 13, then 0. I don't know if he played against New Orleans, then 13, then 4. But, 13, 25, like I said, 19. And you look at McLaurin, who I like McLaurin a lot. 23, 18, 1.5, 13, 14, 15, 12.8, 20, 11.4. Week 1, he had a bad week. Week 2, he had a bad week. And then against Philly in week 11, he had a bad week. But outside of that, he's almost always right around 13 or more. But I would go Courtland Sutton. All right, let's keep going with the hits here. Njoku or Kincaid? All right. Well, first of all, is Njoku still questionable? It doesn't say right there, but let me see. I thought that he was. Yes, he's still questionable. This is from Friday, Dean Njoku, day to day. So you won't know until 90 minutes before game time. So it might be moot. I mean, Njoku might not play. It was Kincaid. All right. Now, oh, wow, they're saying Dalton Kincaid over Njoku. I don't get that at all. If Njoku's healthy, I would start Njoku. These experts are saying Kincaid over Njoku. Maybe they're thinking he's not going to play. I don't know what the reasoning is. I would go, if Njoku's healthy, I would play him. They're going up against Kansas City. Kansas City against tight ends. Let me just look it up. Well, they weren't great. Maybe they've moved up. Let's see. Kansas City's 21st against tight ends. That's 9.5 points. That's right in Njoku's wheelhouse. If Njoku plays, I think he's good to go. But you might have to pick Kincaid if Njoku doesn't go. Mooney or BTJ? Let me look them up. Don't forget, guys, I go live every single day. So hit that follow button on TikTok, hit that subscribe button on YouTube, or if you're on Twitch, which I don't think anybody is, hit that, what was it, follow, I guess, on Twitch. I can't even remember. What was it? It was, nope, that wasn't it. It was Mooney or BTJ. Yeah. They're saying Brian Thomas Jr. They go up against the Jets. Let me see what Mooney's been doing. Mooney 17, 3, 3, 12. Ooh, I don't like those threes. 17 against Minnesota, so not a bad score there. He was doing really well, and then he dropped a 3.7 against Denver. And Mooney and London kind of fight for yardage. Now, BTJ over the last 3 weeks does have good numbers or decent numbers, 12.6, 16.7, and 11.2. He goes up against the Jets and the Raiders. The Raiders against the pass and the Jets against the pass. The Jets are 20th and the Raiders are 27th. Raiders 27.4, the Jets 24.7. So it's like a difference of 2.5. It's not that big of a difference. But I would probably go with Thomas because he has been putting up more points, and Mooney and London kind of fight for that. Let me jump to YouTube real quick. So he's going to have to pick up someone. Should I drop Packers D and not worry about next week? You'll play defense and grab the only viable option on the waiver wire, Dalton Schultz. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I would do that. If you can get somebody on the waiver wire that you believe is going to be a better play, I would do that right now because I think, week 15 for me is the last week of the regular season. Then I start the playoffs next week and the week beyond. I think in the 3-week leagues I'm in, it's the 4 top teams go, and I'm in the playoffs in 2 of them. And then if I have a good chance of making the playoffs in the other one, I have to win though. And I started Cooper Kupp, who got 0 points for me. So that stunk. London or Rachaad White? I would go Rachaad White. He catches the ball out of the backfield and there's a good chance. Well, I guess I should say this. If Bucky Irving doesn't play, Rachaad White's value goes through the roof. Okay. Like he could have over 20 points. That's what these guys do. London is not putting up good points. And as I was talking about with Mooney here, they fight for that. And so neither one of them really has a good week. You know, he's had 9.5, 12.8, 7.6, 13.7, 9.7. The 13.7 is good. The 12.8, I'll round up the 13. I'm always trying to get, because a lot of you guys play in 10-team leagues. 10-team league, you want 13 or more points from a wide receiver or running back. So that's pretty good. But he's had 9, 7, and 9 during that time too. London, that is. So you got to figure maybe London gets you 9, maybe he gets you 13. And if Bucky doesn't play, Rachaad White probably gets you 13 to 24. So I would play Rachaad White as long as Bucky doesn't play. Rachaad White or Thielen. If Bucky doesn't play, I would go Rachaad White over Thielen. If Bucky plays, I would go Thielen over Rachaad White. No, I'd be picking him up to play defense so my opponent can't grab him. I don't need a tight end. I have McBride. Oh, okay. Well, then I didn't read the question correctly, obviously. So he's going to have to pick up someone. Oh, he's going to have to pick up. I thought you were talking about someone in the chat. Okay. Should I drop Packers D and not worry about next week? You'll play defense and grab the only viable option on the. Yes, I see what you're doing. You're grabbing the only guy so the other guy doesn't get him. Yes, that's all part of fantasy football. It's as much as keeping the other teams away from a good player as much as it is having a good player on your team. So yes, Michael Hart Jr., you're 100% correct. Yes. Thank you for the clarification. Dylan, I'm just curious, what's your record and how you looking in playoffs? For me, it depends on the team. I'm like 8 and I'm third. No, I've only played 10. I'm 10 and 1. I'm 10 and 1. I might be 11 and 1. Yeah, I think it's 12 weeks. 11 and 1, 8 and 4. And I believe, let's see. I don't even know in this one. This one only has 6 teams. I'm 8 and 6. But what happened is, I'm not going to make excuses. I just drafted last, and I was drafting with people on my YouTube channel, and they're younger. They're high school and elementary school, and so I let them sort of pick a few players before I even started picking, and I just never really had a good team. I've cobbled together a decent team, but You know, they have Jamar Chase. They got everybody. I mean, they got Jamar Chase. They got Lamar Jackson. They got Josh Allen. They got I might have Nico Collins. No, I don't. Yeah, I have Nico Collins, but he might be my best player, Nico Collins. So anyway, yeah. So that's what I'm looking now. So Amanda Rodriguez, hey, what's going on, Amanda? I see you and my buddy Ron, who's actually Nathaniel, who's on my YouTube channel. Who am I playing you this week, Nathaniel? Is that it? Nathaniel's probably going to kick my butt. He has Derrick Henry and Saquon Barkley. Is that it? You have some ridiculous amount. You also picked up Charbonnet. Yeah, you have. Wait, yeah, Nathaniel, Josh Allen, Malik Neighbors, Jacoby Myers, Alvin Kamara, Derrick Henry, Kelsey, Charbonnet. On the bench, he has Walker, Mahomes, Taylor, and Pickens. Oh, I got to do a puzzle on TikTok. All right. Let's go back to TikTok. Should I trust Hubbard this week? Yeah. Here's the thing. Jonathan Brooks is not around. Hubbard's going to get the bulk of the carries. Dallas against the run is 22nd. They give up 19 points to running backs over the last 4 weeks. I don't necessarily think Hubbard's going to get 19, but I think he probably gets 15. He gets the bulk of those. Probably. He probably at least gets the 15. He could go over 20. He's done it recently over the last few weeks. You were pretending. I will try next year. What dude, come on. You were trying. You had CMC. The problem of it is Nathaniel, you had CMC and he got hurt and that kind of ruined your plans for the year. That's what happened. But you have Derrick Henry. Geez. Should I trust Hubbard this week? Yes. I'm curious. What's your record and how you look? I'm in the playoffs in 2 of the 3 teams. The other one, I'm playing for the playoffs this week. I have the most points out of all the people who are contending for the playoffs, but I have to win. And my problem is, and I'm mad about this, Cooper Kupp got 0 points and I started him. So it screwed me, as you can probably imagine. Amanda Rodriguez sent an ice cream cone. Thank you, Amanda. I'm just now seeing that. Thank you very much. That's awesome. Dylan asked, can you check my tight end question? Just send it again, Dylan. 6-man league, you say teams got to be stacked. Yeah, they got to be stacked. I did not have a stacked team. The guy I'm talking about had Josh Allen and Derrick Henry. I wasn't even close to that. Okay. This is not the same Dylan. Dylan, okay, you're doing the Hawkinson Andrews thing. I don't know. I think Andrews' matchup is pretty good this week. I looked him up earlier. Let me look him up, Dylan. Yeah, they're saying Andrews. I would go with Andrews because he's going up against the Giants, and the Giants against tight ends are middling. They're 18th. They give up 8.3 points, and Andrews has been putting up good points. So I would go with Andrews. Yeah, but Hawkinson, okay, let me just look up Hawkinson's. Hawkinson has had 6.5, 4.3, 14.9, 2.3 the last 4 weeks. There's nothing that tells me that he's going to have 14 points. Now he goes up against Chicago and he had 14.9 points against Chicago. So if that's what you're talking about, if that's what you're reading into this, you could do that. The one thing that I've noticed, okay, and I'll use Juwan Jennings as the example here. Juwan Jennings early in the year played the Rams and got 40 points or more. The other night when he played the Rams, I think he got like 4 points. Okay. So some of that is, oh, now we see you. Now we see what you can do, what your role is, and we're going to prevent that role. We're not going to let Hawkinson beat us. So there is that mentality going around in some of this. I just like Look, if that's what you're looking at, I totally get where you're coming from. And if that's your intuition, I would go with that. But I'm telling you, as someone who looks at fantasy, Andrews is a solid, very strong play because over the last few weeks, he's putting up some pretty good numbers for a tight end. Again, in tight ends, I usually look for 7 or more points. He's had 15, 13. He did drop a 3 against Pittsburgh, and he had 15 against Cincinnati. He goes up against a bad Giants team. I think he's going to be good. Now, let me just see here. Hockenson, Chicago against tight ends is 26. They give up 10.4. The Giants give up 8.3. So it's about 2-point difference. I just think Andrews has been putting up solid points, and I don't want anything to take away from that. I don't want that to change, you know. But it's a good problem to have because either one you play is good. All right, let's see what we got here. Dylan, I have a hard time trusting Andrews with how he started the year, 2 back-to-back. Yeah, but look at his last couple games, man. Dylan, you're following me, right? You got to follow me, buddy, all right? This isn't the same Dylan, right? Because there's a Dylan that is a subscriber. That's not you, though. Amanda's a subscriber. All right, I'm going to get to Amanda's question because she has a new one, which is awesome. I love Amanda's questions. Kamara, Chase Brown, and Breece are my other running backs. Wait, is this a two-parter? Amanda, should I trust Hubbard? Yeah, I think Chase Brown is going to have a good game. He's putting up some great numbers. I think Kamara actually. Let's see, Washington against running backs. They're 21st. They give up 18.4. I think Kamara and Chase Brown should have good games. I don't love Breece. I don't think he's been putting up points. I'm really down on Breece because he just hasn't been putting up points. Connor, I'll get to yours in a second. Hey, Connor's here, everybody. Hey, Connor's got a tight end question, like so many folks do tonight, which is awesome. Yeah, I know the way Andrews started the season, but he's finishing pretty strong, so I would go with Andrews. Did I get to yours? Yeah. Amanda, are you just saying who else you have? I think Chase Brown and Kamara are good matchups. Let me go back to Amanda and see where she's at. And then I'll go to Connor. Wait, Amanda had another one after that. No problem, Dylan. You come back anytime, dude, and I appreciate you following. Where's Amanda? She told me the other guy. Chase Brown, Kamara. Where was the other one? She had one. Should I trust? Oh, Hubbard. That's right. Yeah. I mean, I would start Kamara, Chase Brown, and Hubbard. I would try to put one of them in a flex if you can. I think they're all 3 of them are going to have good weeks. I mean, Hubbard's going up against Dallas. They're not very good against the run. They're kind of middling, I think. All right, Amanda, let me know if you have another question. Hey, Connor. All right, Hockenson or Laporta? Let's see what the experts say. I kind of like Laporta, but we'll see. Hockenson does not put up good numbers. Laporta does. Okay, so the Bills versus the Bears against tight ends. The Bills are number 7. The Bears are 26. The Bears give up 10.4. And the Bills give up 6.0. So that's going to be a factor here because that's 4-point difference. So the matchup favors Hockenson by 4 points. Or, I mean, other tight ends could get points. It's the 10 points isn't per tight end. It's collectively for tight ends. So it does favor Hockenson. But the thing about Hockenson, okay, let's just see. Hockenson got 14.9 against Chicago last time. And usually I would say, oh, that's a good sign. But the one thing I've learned is just because they got 14 points last time doesn't always mean they're going to get 14 points this time. And Laporta has been much more steady. 7.9, 14, 3.4, not good. 14. They play Buffalo. Let me just see something here. Okay. Buffalo 7. Have they gone up against the Rams or Saints? Of course not. Okay, has he gone up against the Niners or Falcons? Oh my God. Minnesota, Tennessee, Green Bay, Houston, Indianapolis, Chicago, Green Bay. Green Bay's 20th. Chargers. Bill, let's say Vikings or Cardinals. The Vikings, he had 3 points. Yeah. You know, this might be one of the times where I say Hawkinson because of the difference in tight ends, the numbers. And Laporta is not, he has 7.9, which is good for a tight end. Anything over 7, I say, is good. 14, but then he dumped a 3 against Indianapolis. Then I'm going backwards. Houston, he had 14. I guess he didn't play against Jacksonville, or maybe that was no, that wasn't their bye. He didn't play. He had 14 against Houston, but then he had 3.8 against Green Bay. So Laporta might put up good points as a tight end against bad teams or bad teams against tight ends. So for that reason, I would go with Hawkinson. It's a much better matchup. Laporta might have another 3 or 4 or 5 or 6. Hey, Tay's here, everybody. So yeah, I would go with Hawkinson. It kind of feels weird because Laporta has been putting up bigger numbers more often, but he is a little inconsistent. And if you look at his numbers are really good against bad teams. All right. Let me look up Tay because he gifted me, and then I'll jump over to you, Rosa, on YouTube. Where is my man Tay? Thank you, Connor, though, for being on the live. Let's see here. Ambro, let's go. Wilson S. and Tay. I need you to start 2 for me between Myers, Evans, and Adams. I would probably go Myers and Adams, but let me see what the experts say. I think Myers has a good matchup. Atlanta is in last place against wide receivers. They give up the most amount of points, and they give up, like, on average over the last 4 weeks, something over like 38 points. So it's Evans, Adams, and Myers. Well, they're actually saying, the experts are saying Mike Evans and Davante Adams. I'm okay with Davante Adams because the Jets play Jacksonville. I would go Myers based on the matchup. The thing with Evans, and they're recommending Evans. Yes, I think Evans is a talent. I respect him. He'll probably be in the Hall of Fame. He won a ring with Tom Brady, all of that kind of stuff. But here's what he's done: 8.9, 21, 9, 9, 4. In the last 5 weeks, he's gone over 13 points once, and that was against Carolina. Now, the Chargers against wide receivers are, well, they're not very good again. They do give up 25.1 points, so the matchup is not bad for Evans. Jacksonville gives up a lot more, but Atlanta is last. Jacksonville's 24. The Chargers are 20. Chargers give up 25.1. Jacksonville gives up 26, so a difference of 1, which is very small. And then Falcons give up 38.5. I don't think that the Falcons will give up. I think that's probably skewed by a game where they gave up some some huge number. But I think Myers probably gets 15 points. So the experts are saying Mike Evans and Davante Adams. I say Davante Adams and Jacoby Myers because Myers matchup. That's why I like Myers in that situation. I think a lot of times the experts go with, oh, well, this guy's a Hall of Famer. Like I don't care. I don't care. I look at the points that they're putting up over the last 4 weeks, usually maybe 5 weeks, whatever it might be. I look at that and I look up how the defense has been doing that they're playing for that position over the last 4 weeks. That's how I look at it. And I'm saying Davante Adams and Jacoby Myers. But if you want to go with the experts, look, It doesn't make me any difference. I'm just telling you what the experts say. They say Davante Adams and Mike Evans. If you want to go with them, it's like 20 guys from all these different. It's an algorithm that I'm using that puts up where they're ranked by these experts, and so it looks and says, okay, well, this guy is 9, this guy's 12, this guy's 10, this guy's 14, this guy's 3, this guy's 18. So who, what's the overall rank of the guy? And so they're saying it's Evans and Davante Adams. I say Jacoby Myers and Davante Adams. So that's who I would start if it was my team. The experts would say Evans and Adams. All right, I have no problem. I really have no problem with you guys saying, hey, I want to go with the experts. That's fine. One of my biggest criticisms, I think, early on in this process this year, because that's when I started being live talking about fantasy, was, I've never heard that. No one's ever said that. No one's ever picked that guy. I've talked to other people and no one ever picks that guy. Last week, I had a poll of the top 15 quarterbacks, running backs, wide receivers, and I got all kinds of grief, literally, because in my top 15 going into week 14, I didn't have Cooper Kupp and I didn't have Drake London, which is fine. People were giving me all kinds of grief about it, going after, saying things, challenging me. And I said, look at London's points. He hasn't gotten double digits in weeks, which he hadn't. And I was right. He got 9 points. All right. He wasn't in the top 15. Now, Cooper Kupp had 17 points. He was in the top 15. But if you look at Cooper Kupp's game before and game after, he got like 2.9 or 3, let's say, somewhere in there, 2.9 the game before. And last week, this past week on Thursday night, right, he got 0. So maybe I wasn't too far off. Yes, Cooper Kupp is a great receiver. He's a fantastic receiver. I'd love to have the talent he has. But right now, for whatever reason, the Rams offense is going Puka first. It's not split like it was. I even see Cooper Kupp blocking more than usual in the games, just like when they show a play. So all right, I'm boring everybody. You probably want to go to sleep after I said that. I get it. Let's go back to the phones. Kind of. Amanda Rodriguez says, Dylan, I'm just scared to start Tyreek. Amanda, come on. Tyreek's come around. What's your question? Come on. Let's all help Amanda here, okay? Tyreek. They have a good matchup against Houston. Tyreek had 23 points, 17, 7, 15, 10, 10, 10. Okay. So Houston against wide receivers, Amanda, is 31st. They give up 29.4 points on average to wide receivers over the last 4 weeks. Tyreek Hill, on paper, should get 15 points. You split 29 in half, you get 14 and a half, you round up, whatever. But 15 points, give or take 1 or 2. He should get that. He may get more. Tua's playing better, than when he came back. So I think that offense, and they know they have to win to get into the playoffs. So I think it's a good thing. I think I would not be scared with Hubbard, and I would not be scared with Tyreek. Yes, early in the season, especially obviously when Tua was not quarterbacking the team, Tyreek was not a play. I even said several times, you may have heard me, Amanda, I would stay away from anything with Miami. They're just not putting up points. Nothing's there, blah, 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 blah. But now it's completely the opposite. Tua's back. He's playing well. As long as he's healthy and doesn't suffer another concussion, he should have really, really good weeks until the end of the season, and they probably make the playoffs. Let me just see, Amanda. Okay. Did Amanda have something else, though, about Tyreek? Neighbors, Ladd, Hill, Evans, London, pick 2. Did I go through this? Oh, God. Neighbors could have a decent game, but I don't know if DeVito, he's not putting up points. Ladd, if he's healthy, I would play him. Tyreek Hill, I would definitely play. If Ladd can't go, I would go Evans. I would say, I bet you the experts say Tyreek and Evans, but I'll look it up. I'm saying I would go Hill Hill and Evans. All right, let's say Hill, Evans, London, Hill, Evans, Lovin. Yeah, if Ladd can play, that's the issue. Yeah, the experts are saying, like I said, Mike Evans and Tyreek Hill. I would probably go Tyreek Hill and Ladd, but the only thing that scares me about Ladd is he does have a knee issue, and my fear is they don't play him, even if he is healthy enough, even if he's active, that he doesn't play all of the snaps he normally would play. And you had Neighbors. See, let's take out Tyreek and put Neighbors in there. Yeah, they're saying Mike Evans and Tyreek Hill. Oh, yeah. You know what? Because of the injury to Ladd and the fact that they might not use him, I would go Evans and Hill. Now, Evans has not been very consistent, but let's see. London, the thing that scares me about London, well, London's put up probably better points. He's had 9.5, 12, 7. Evans, has he been 8? No, yeah, I would go Evans. I would go Evans and Hill. I would go Evans and Hill. I wouldn't even worry about Ladd. I figure they're not going to play him at 100%. All right, I'm going to jump over to YouTube real quick. A lot of the time, star players make a TD but get called back, and the drive ends with a kick or a TD or another player. Yeah, that's what happens all the time. You Rosa. Yeah, I agree with you. Like you think your guy just scored 6 points and it gets called back, so that really stinks. All right, let's see what we got. We're running through it. Davante Adams or Higgins? Well, I've had a lot of Davante Adams, a lot of Higgins questions over the last few days. Let's look this one up. I bet you they say Higgins. Yeah, they really like Higgins. I don't know if I really like Higgins because you have Jamar. They go up against Tennessee. Okay, Tennessee's okay. He had 3 against Dallas, 15, 25, 16. He puts up good points outside of last week. Adams, 21, 15, 10, 6.1. See, the experts are saying T. Higgins. I'm saying I would probably go with Davante Adams. And my reasoning is he's the number 1 and he plays Jacksonville. And Tennessee, the Titans, I always look stupid. The Titans are 15. They give up 21.4 points to wide receivers. Okay. Jacksonville is 24. They give up 26.2. So it's a difference of 5 points. And because of that, I would actually go with Adams. All right. Hey, my man John is Tan is here. You know, he had to put John is Tan 21. That is so bizarre. Like there are 20 other people that have John is Tan. All right, pick 2. Monty, James Conner, Jonathan Taylor, Harris. Well, definitely I would go Monty. I would definitely go Monty because the two-headed monster is going to wear down the Bills anyway. They're going to get their points. You run as much as they do because they have 2 really good running backs. They're going to get their points. They're going to get 13. They might not get 23. Hey, Amanda, thank you for the hat. Okay, cool. At least I got to play with it a little bit. So I would go Monty. Let me look up Connor, JT, and Harris. I'm leaning towards Connor. Philadelphia is number 1 against running backs. Najee's going to have a long day. Najee doesn't put up good points now. It's going to be a long day. They don't let him. He doesn't score a lot of touchdowns. They don't let him run it in. I don't understand that, but Taylor's very inconsistent. Now they're saying, well, let me just put in Harris. Yeah, they're saying James Conner, and that's who I would go with. I would say Monty and James Conner. John is Tan. Yeah, buddy. All right. Let me do a quick reset. I'm just under 2 hours of doing this, believe it or not. Don't forget on TikTok. Hey, we're at 9,200 likes. Let's get to 10,000 likes. Okay. We have 17 people that followed me on TikTok. don't forget to follow me. I go live every single day. I'm happy to answer your questions. Obviously, you guys know the way this goes. I don't have, for whatever reason, my the algorithm, I don't have an overabundance of people on here where I have to say, oh, you have to follow me, you have to pay me money. If you want to jump the line, you can pay me money. If you want to jump the line, you can subscribe. Now, subscribing is $2.99 a month, and you figure you got about a month of the but you get a couple of benefits from that. You get to DM me on TikTok all you want. Over on YouTube, if you're new and you haven't already, hit that like button, hit subscribe so you know when I'm on. I would love that. Hit that follow button if you're on TikTok, though. And you guys know that I'll probably get to most of your questions. And I love the fact that tonight you guys are really talking to each other and helping each other out. I think it's great. Young Vic asked Aaron Rodgers or Tua. Okay. Anybody in the chat help him out with this? To me, it's a super simple question. And I'm young Vic. I'm not at all trying to be a jerk. I think you have no, like, to me, it's Tua. Like Aaron Rodgers is, yeah, your best friend says Tua. Your best friend, you're right on the money, buddy. You are 100% on the money. I'll get to you right next. I would go that Vic. All right, says Ron 38. That's my mod, baby. All right. Your best friend who said Tua, and I agree with him. Ladd, Neighbors, Thielen, Pollard, White. Start 3. Well, definitely if Bucky doesn't play, start White, but you probably want to start White anyway. I don't know that Neighbors is going to have a great game with DeVito at quarterback. I don't know that Ladd will even play. And if he does play, he has a knee injury and that he won't, I believe he'll be held back a little bit, or he won't see the number of snaps and or targets that he usually does, then declining the amount of potential points he can get. So if I'm starting 3 on that, I would go Thielen and White, and then I would go Pollard. Now, Pollard is the only one that sort of, I'm going to say something that sounds completely crazy, but raises my spidey senses, if you will. He's not as consistent as I would like, and he's questionable. Okay, what does it say? Is Alyssa is questionable for Sunday's game? Well, Pollard might not play. Let's see. Wasn't able to practice Wednesday or Thursday due to an ankle injury. When I was spotted the Friday session, he ended up going down as a limited. I think Pollard is going to play. I think I read, though, yesterday that, hold on, let me see. Pollard was listed as questionable after limited practice on Friday. The veteran has previously played after failing to log a single limited session, so he should be out there on Sunday. So they think Pollard will play. Here's the thing with Pollard, okay? Let's just talk about the last 4 weeks. 13, 6, 20, 3.9, 8.3, 16.9. Now he goes up against Cincinnati. Cincinnati against the run, as you might expect, is not very good. They're 28th. I think, and they give up 22.2 points to running backs on average over the last 4 weeks. I think Pollard, everything that I'm seeing points to Pollard having a good game. He's playing a weak running back defense. He's had good weeks. He's not been as consistent, as I just said, as we'd like him to be. But he did have 13 against Jacksonville. And Jacksonville, this is last week. Jacksonville gives up 25.2. The Bengals give up 22.2. So obviously he didn't get to 25, but I think he should be right around that 13 number as well against Cincinnati. He had 102 yards rushing, but he did not have a touchdown. Had he had a touchdown, he would have had probably 19 points or more, or whatever it is. So, you know, he did have 3 weeks ago against Houston, 119 yards rushing and 1 touchdown, and he had 20 points. So, yeah, I would start those 3. Pollard, Thielen, and White. Probably even if Bucky Irving does play, I would start White. He still puts up 13 or 14 points. Can I join as a guest tomorrow? Yes, you can. We're going to do it before kickoff, Ron. You can join. I want you to be a guest. You can, you can be a guest right now, buddy. You want to be a guest right now? Just don't ruin my channel, okay? Oh, wait, is it not letting me? Yeah, multi-guest. I just invited you, Ron. Nathaniel. Multi-guest, are you here? Nathaniel? Nathaniel? Are you not ready to go? I can undo it, but all right. Let's see. John is tan. Pick 2. Garrett Wilson, Neighbors, Waddle, Pittman Jr., Tank Dell. Wow. Pittman Jr., Tank Dell. Those are 2 names I haven't seen in a while. All right. I would definitely go with Waddle. Nathaniel, I invited you to be a guest host. You don't have to be. We can do it tomorrow. Don't worry about it. I don't even know if you're still on. Except, yes, of course. Where you at, buddy? Hey, you got a little screen on the bottom. Or you're not going to show your face. That's fine. What's up, Nathaniel? Hey, buddy. This is my boy, baby. Big Yankees fan. Are you a Giants fan? Eagles. How did you become an Eagles fan, dude? Is that like a? Oh, that's right. Their defense is awesome, dude. Their defense is awesome. They're definitely going to make the playoffs. They might run the table in the NFC. They might run the table. That's pretty cool. So how you been doing? How's the weather, buddy? All right. Okay. Okay, not bad then. You still practicing your Hey, this dude is a freshman in high school playing varsity baseball. That's how good he is. How cool is that? All right. Can you help me out with some of these? Yeah. Oh, come on. You play the hardest position. Yeah, but you're a catcher still. All right. John is tan asks us pick 2. Garrett Wilson, Neighbors, Waddle, Pittman, Tank Dell. Who are you thinking? I'm thinking Waddle, number 1. And then I'm going to look up the other guys. What do you think, buddy? Yeah, he's been pretty good. Okay, so I'm going to compare Wilson, Neighbors, and Pittman and Tank Dell. So let me start with Dell. I haven't looked him up in a while. I'll look up Neighbors. I'll look up Garrett Wilson, and then Pittman. Haven't looked him up in a while. All right. The experts say Garrett Wilson, and I tend to agree because they're going up against Jacksonville. Rodgers should have a pretty good game. I mean, he hasn't been playing well. You know that. You probably see all the reports, right? With Rodgers. Yeah, up in New York, they must want him out of there as soon as possible. So, hey, were you pretty okay? We're gonna vamp for a second. What did you think about you guys picking up? You got an outfielder and a relief pitcher, right? The relief pitcher was a need, right? That was big. Yeah. That was, yeah. Yeah. Good job. I think it's awesome. This guy also has a YouTube channel. Give out your YouTube info, buddy. Or you don't have to. Hello? Yeah, if you want to, say it. You can put it in the chat too. What's that? All right. Oh yeah, this guy gets all the bullpen lineup cards from the games and makes videos of him, you know, uh, talking his way into getting them. It's pretty cool. And he has a video with his brother. It's really good stuff. Getting one. Who did your brother get a bullpen card from? What team? Haha, I think the Orioles are done. Corbin is a free agent. He isn't signed, right? Yeah. Oh my God. They would be better even without Soto if they got him, don't you think? Yeah. Well, and you need pitching. You always need pitching. Pitching always wins. Okay, let's get back to fantasy football. BTJ, Cody Burbidge says BTJ, MHJ, Judy, Neighbors, sit 1. Well, I would go BTJ and Judy, and then let's look up who's better between Marvin Harrison Jr. and Neighbors, or who should have the better week. Let's just look that up. Marvin. Yeah, I don't trust him either. Is Locke hurt? Is that why they did that? Okay. He must be hurt. That's all I can figure. I don't trust DeVito at all. but I didn't think Locke was that much. Now they're saying you should, well, essentially Malik Neighbors should have a better game and to sit Marvin Harrison Jr. The one thing about Marvin Harrison Jr. is he's really inconsistent. He'll have, 6 points, 14 points, 6 points, 13, 2. He's all over the place. I don't understand how he can be so different every single game, where at least with Malik, it's 12, 11, 9. So yeah, I agree with the experts on this one. I would sit Marvin Harrison and I would make sure that Malik plays. So, all right. As sure. Oh, is that what it is? Okay, cool. Right. I know you always get the knowledge, dude. Bucky, Rico, or Cook. My only fear with Bucky is he might not play because he's injured. If he doesn't play, I would go with Rico. It's a good matchup against the Panthers. What do you say, Nathaniel? Anything? Bucky, Rico, or Cook? Buccaneers and Rachaad White. Yeah. It's Rachaad White and Bucky Irving on Tampa Bay. But Bucky's injured, and if he doesn't play, if you haven't picked him up already, I would get Rachaad White because he'll have a monster game if Bucky doesn't play. So, but if Bucky doesn't play, yeah, go ahead. Yeah, of course. Well, Cook is a good pick. The only thing that scares me about Cook is he's going up against Detroit, and they're the number one toughest defense against running backs. That's the only thing that scares me about that. And that's why I say Rico probably gets 13 or 14 points against Carolina pretty easy. All right. John is Tan is re-asking the question. Wait, what did you say? Pick 2: Garrett Wilson, Neighbors, Waddle, Pittman, Tank Dell. I believe we said Garrett Wilson and Waddle. It was Garrett Wilson and Waddle. John is Tan. All right. Well, anything else? What are you looking forward to tomorrow? And any games you'll be watching with you can't wait for, Nathaniel? Oh, did he go? Oh, okay. I think Nathaniel might have jumped off. All right. Sure. I started Garendo and Kittle, so I got to lock in. Yeah. Oh my God. Well, I started Cooper Kupp. Sure. Sure. You got to follow, dude. Are you still there? Did you go mute for a second, Nathaniel? Okay. Yeah. You just went mute again. You have a coffee cup. Whatever you're doing takes you away from the game, or take. Now you're back. So you're muting yourself or going away for a second. I was just going to say, are there any games that you can't wait to watch tomorrow? Any big games? Yeah. 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 And I think Philadelphia and Pittsburgh should be a good game, but it could be, well, I mean, we're Americans. It could be a little boring because maybe not a lot of points will be scored. That's my only fear. All right. Here's a good one. Ben Sapansky, I think that's how you would pronounce it. I am part Polish. I should know this. Burrow or Daniels? I'm leaning towards Burrow. Let's see what the experts pick. I mean, Burrows has been playing MVP caliber over the last 5 or 6 weeks, and he has to win to get in. So he's more. Oh, they're saying Jaden Daniels, the experts. Oh, I guess. Wow, they're saying Jaden Daniels. I guess because he's playing New Orleans. I would actually probably lean towards Burrow because Burrow has been. I'll just look real quick. He's had 25, 20, 29, 33, 30 over the last 5 weeks. So pretty good numbers. Now, Daniels, let's just see what he's had. 28, 32, 14, 8.6. So Burrow has been playing a little bit better, but let's see against quarterbacks. New Orleans is 14th. They give up 21. The Titans give up 23. So they're relatively close. So the experts are picking Jaden Daniels. I think Burrow, well, I guess the thing about it, though, is Daniels can win games with his legs, right, Nathaniel? Yeah, I mean, Daniels can win with his legs. So maybe on this one, Daniels isn't a bad pick because rushing, he gets Daniels the last 3 or 4 games, he has 34, 74, 18, 5, 35. So he does get a few more points with his legs. So yeah, I would go Jaden Daniels. That's a great question. Off the top of my head, I would have easily said Burrow, but I am completely wrong on that one. Go with Jaden Daniels. Yep. All right. We'll do a quick reset. If you haven't already, please follow me. I go live every single day. I got my buddy Nathaniel on with me tonight. He's a New Yorker who loves the Yankees and somehow loves, get this, the Eagles. So he's a self-loathing New York fan because he also supports the Eagles, which are the big competition there in Giant country. So, all right, let's see. Cleveland, yeah. Yeah, what is it? You can read it. Yeah. What do you think, Nathaniel? Yeah, and they're saying the experts are saying Philly. I would do the same. That's a great point about Pickens being out. I think that's going to really affect Pittsburgh's game and Russell's game. He doesn't have that big, tall body to throw to. Now, the one thing about it is Kansas City's going to get their points. They always do. They have a pretty efficient offense, but they don't score a lot, and so it might help Cleveland's defense. But I believe both of these games could be rather low scoring. Because Kansas City just doesn't score enough, and they have a defense that's just good enough to win by 3 points every week, or at least it seems. And Philadelphia and Pittsburgh is, I believe, going to be a lower scoring game. Watch me be totally wrong, and it's 40-37. But with Pickens out, I think Pirates, I constantly say that. Steelers are going to have a tough time. Yeah, I would agree. You're right on the money, Nathaniel. All right, Steck has Reed or McCormick. So it's Sincere McCormick with the Raiders versus Jaden Reed. Any thoughts on that one, my man? Yeah. Yeah, Mason. Yeah, they put in Garendo. Yeah. Yeah, something like that. Let's see what it says. Something around there. Yeah. Yeah. Well, the example that I always use is when Mixon went down earlier in the season for Houston. They tried Cam Akers. Cam Akers did not live up. He did not have good games, and so they ended up trading him back to Minnesota, who he played for last year. On the other hand, when CMC went down, at least for the first few weeks, Jordan Mason was putting up really good numbers. And then he kind of drifted away. That offense kind of drifted away. So this season we've seen both, and so yeah, you're right on the money. And you look at Charbonnet had a big week. You look at Grendo. I think initially didn't he have a really big week? So guys do that big week, and then what happens sometimes I think too is they come back down to earth as well. All right, let's see here. We have Jay. He says pick 3: Sutton, Evans, Hill, and Lamb. Any thoughts on that one? Sutton, Evans, Hill, and Lamb. I'll start typing that in. You let me know if you have any thoughts on that one. Oh, we never answered the Sincere McCormick one. Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead. I don't think. Yeah, it was Sincere McCormick, and who was the other guy? They were saying, yeah, the experts were picking Sincere McCormick. I would go with him. Reed let me down a week or two ago when he got 0 points. The one thing I keep saying is Green Bay and Jordan Love have a lot of receivers they throw to, so it doesn't allow for one guy, at least knowingly or predictively, to score points. Like 1 week Reed might get the points, 1 week Watson might get the points, Wicks, Dobbs. So that's why I avoid Green Bay, and I would go with Sincere McCormick. Any thoughts on that? I'll be typing in the Sutton info. Anything else on that? Sutton Evans. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I would agree. Okay, so the experts are saying Tyreek Hill and Mike Evans are two. And then they're saying Mike Evans. Okay, so Tyreek and Mike Evans, which I thought, and they're actually saying CD over Cortland Sutton. I actually, it's a good matchup against Carolina. My only fear is okay, so CD has 18, 4, 11, and he did get 4.9 points against the Giants. They go up against Carolina. I'm just looking at, he had 14 against Houston, 11 against Washington, 4 against the Giants, 18 against Cincinnati. But then you have Cortland Sutton, and the one thing I'll say with him is he's very consistent: 13, 25, 11, 16, 19. I like Sutton because he is very predictable. However, yeah, he I would go Sutton, but the experts on this one are picking CD Lamb. So they're going Evans. Who were the people? They're going Evans, Hill, and then they're picking Lamb. I'm saying I would pick Sutton over Lamb because Sutton has been a little bit more consistent than Lamb. What do you think, Nathaniel? Yes. Yeah. 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 Good. No, I would agree, dude. I think you're right on the money with that one. Perfect. Yeah. So we're both saying Sutton. The experts are saying Lamb. We also believe Evans and Hill should be the other two. We're saying Evans, Hill, Sutton. The experts say Evans, Hill, Lamb. All right. Let's see. Who do we have? I'm just scrolling through. Starter sit DK if you are running Charbonnet. Yes. If you're going to play Charbonnet, I would sit DK if it's like a flex. Currently have him benched behind London, Adams, and Marvin Harrison Jr. Yeah, London and Marvin Harrison Jr. have not been putting up double digits as much as they should. Adams hasn't been so bad. I would say out of all the names, DK, Charbonnet, Adams, Marvin Harrison Jr., and London, the best two names that jump out are Charbonnet and Adams. So those are the two that I would try to get into a game. This is Emmanuel's question, Nathaniel. Emmanuel Escadon. What are you thinking? Yeah, yeah, yeah. I agree. The, yeah. What's that? Really? See, I think Marvin Harrison has been very inconsistent. He'll get. Is he still up here? Let me see. Yeah. Well, no, I'm just saying that the way I look at like Harrison, I'm just looking him up real quick. He's had, like 14-3. Like here's his points total going backwards. 6, 14, 6, 13, 2. So that it's almost like every other week. So last week he had 6. So does that mean this weekend he's bound to get 14? Maybe it does, but I can't think that that's really looking at data and being analytic. So I just wouldn't start Marvin Harrison. You would, and that would be the difference. But I think that Adams and Charbonnet, you probably what would you pick between DK, Charbonnet? Who are your top three? Maybe DK, Charbonnet, London, Adams, and Marvin Harrison Jr. Yeah. DK, Charbonnet, London, Adams, and Marvin Harrison Jr. Yeah, it is. DK, Charbonnet, London, Adams, MHJ. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, I would agree with that. Good decision. All right. All right. Met Gala asks, start Herbert or Darnold. Any thoughts on that? I have my thoughts. I'm going to be quiet and listen to you, though. I think you have good takes on these things. And this is one that just has two names, which is easy for both of us to remember. So Herbert and Darnold. You would start Herbert. See, I would start Darnold because I think Darnold's been playing better. Now, Herbert has a great matchup against Tampa Bay. The thing that scares me about Herbert is against Kansas City, where teams do put up points, he had 13. Against Atlanta, this is just 2 weeks ago, Herbert had 8. So Atlanta and Kansas City, I think his 8 and 13.7 over the last 2 weeks should have been higher. That's the thing about Herbert that scares me. Now you look at what Darnold's been doing over the last few weeks, 34.6, 19.6, 21, 23. He's had 4 super solid weeks. And against Chicago last time, he did have 21 points. So I'm not going to accept that. I think I would start Darnold. You would not. And see, that's where we differ. Herbert, based on the matchup, probably, right? Against Tampa Bay. That's why you would start him, right? Yeah. Yeah. So if you want to go matchup, you go Herbert. If you want to go sort of, how they've been playing, the momentum, the last 4 weeks, I would go Darnold. All right. Now we're going to add Tua to it because someone's asking Tua or Herbert. Now the experts picked Tua here, but it's just 53-47. Tua over the last couple of weeks, 23, 25, 28, 23. I mean, you got to say something about consistency there. He's over 20 the last 4 weeks, where Herbert 13, 8, 17, 24. And again, he had 8 points against Atlanta. He had 13 points against Kansas City. Houston, well, let's look up Houston against quarterbacks is 21st. They give up 22.6, which is good for Tua. That means he'll probably get over 20 again. But Tampa Bay against quarterbacks is 7th, actually. They give up 18.9. So the better matchup in some ways would be Tua's matchup. Any thoughts on this one? Tua versus Herbert. Yeah. 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 Okay. Yeah, we're in agreement. We agree with the experts. That one's a done deal. John is tan, our man, Nathaniel. He says pick 2. Waddle, Hill, Collins. Oh, come on. Come on. Come on. You're asking about Nico Collins, Judy Wilson. It is a tough. I would okay. Here's what he says. It's John is tan. Are you seeing this, Nathaniel, or do you want me to say the names again? Okay, you can see it. Okay, good. I would go Collins and Hill, but what do you think? Okay. Okay. I think Judy will have a good game. Yeah. Okay, the experts are saying Nico Collins. I agree with Nico Collins. Okay, so I'm going to take Nico Collins out. Wait a second, I'm missing one. Waddle, Hill, Wilson. Oh, where did Judy? Oh, Judy. I know what happened. Okay, so I'm going to take him out, and then I'm going to put in Judy. I would say Nico Collins, and then I would say Tyreek Hill. What? Okay, cool. All right, man. I've been on for almost 2.5 hours, so I am going to duck out. I will be back tomorrow. And Nathaniel, if you're around when I'm on, I'll try to send you a text, buddy. And let's join me again, dude. This has been fun. I love it. I love it. This is perfect. What? All right, you're always on. Okay. All right, I'll let you know the text then. You guys take care. Thanks for all the follows. Thanks for all the gifts. Thanks for being so kind to my buddy Nathaniel. He did a fantastic job. So on TikTok, I am signing off. Thank you all very much. And on YouTube, here I go, signing off. Thank you all.